let's have some examples. So in our experiences, I invite everyone. So I hope we have a lot of physics teachers here and maybe science teachers also. You can also include. You can also participate. You can also type in the chat box your experiences, so of some problems or probably words or terms that you encountered in your teaching experiences that you found it hard for students to comprehend at the very least when they first read the word. So you can share to everyone, no? Pwede tayong maglagay sa chat box ng mga examples na yun. So I'll just give you some, no? Maybe I have two examples in here. Oh, in our experiences, I just got some example problem here with some solutions. Well, the solution is not very more that not important, but if we look at the into the problem, the problem is about an object is dropped from a 15-meter ledge. How fast is it moving just before it hits the ground? Some students would find it hard to know what is a ledge, right? Would you agree with me? Do I have some agreements in? I mean, do we have some agreements in? So some students would find it hard to visualize what is a ledge, sir. Okay, so we know that this is a free fall problem, but what is a ledge? So maybe a good practice for us is to check check on our students if they can be able to understand a specific term or a specific meaning. Also, I think there is the red one for the red box for the how fast is it moving just before it hits the ground. So it's part of the multi-step problem solving, where, for example, you look at the question, specifically the question. The question is asked. I mean, the question is about how fast. So your students would think, how fast? So what do I'm looking for? Is it the mass? Is it the acceleration? I might be I might be confused with acceleration and velocity, right? Or is it the time? I'm talking about how fast, right? So that's one way. I mean, another important thing that we have to uh, practice with our students is that how are they going to interpret the question? And by looking at key terms into the questions, uh, they will be able to what's this answer the questions correct. Okay. Another example. I'm not sure if you're giving some examples. So ayan, wala pa. I'm waiting for some examples from the audience. Of course, we are all teachers or educators here. Maybe some of you are students, but you can also share with us. No? Some students you can also share with us those specific terms that you find it hard in I mean in answering problems or maybe reading text in physics. Also, another one in my experience. So another this is another problem. A driver slams on his brakes to try to avoid hitting a cow on the road. So the car skids 30 meters before stopping. If the coefficient of kinetic friction between the tires and the road is zero point 0.8, how fast was the car moving before the brakes were applied? So, well, I'm not asking you on how to answer this one, but uh, let's see what are the specific terms or specific words that your students may find it hard to comprehend. Am I still audible to everyone? I hope everyone is there. I have some reactions from the group. Yeah, very good. Thank you, Sir Raymond. So skids, right? Skids is not a very familiar term to all of us. Well, I'm not sure with the other other students, but most of our students wouldn't know what skids is, right? So we should be careful we also should be careful um in choosing the words that we are putting into the problems. Okay. So this one we have control of, right? So when we write problems or when we write modules to our students, or if we whenever we put text into our presentations, or give or we whenever we create assessments, we have control of that, right? We have control of those things as teachers. But there are also or there is also a part of our of our world in physics education where we don't have control of. How about the texts? How about the textbooks? Right? We don't know the level of the words or the terms in the textbooks. Of course, some of you maybe are writers in some textbooks in the Philippines. You can also control that one. You have control. So there are ways that we can look into in how do we, for example, how do we help our students in this activity, in this comprehensions and so on with the physics problems or physics text that we have. Okay, well, I have to add also another one here is the uh we all know these terms. We all know this kind of um I mean, sorry, we as teachers we have to also create problems, or maybe challenge our students, or when we create problems we have to put this in context, right? We have to put this in context. Like for example, no, meron kasing mga some problems. So for example, meron mga problems na a car is moving 500 kilometers per hour. And then the students would ask you, Sir, posible po ba yung 500 kilometers per hour? Okay? So, we have to put in context. We have to be realistic. Yan yung term na iniisip ko. Be realistic in our problems as well. So, that's one good idea in here and in this specific problem. Okay, we have one sharing in the chat box. There's a problem in physics textbook that mentions a toboggan. Oh, this is oh, this is also the first time that I heard this one, and we didn't know what that is. Oh my god, we don't know that one. I mean, is it Ma'am Donna? Is it a Philippine textbook? Don't mention the name, please. Ah, no, it's not. Okay, so yeah, well, that's also another challenge for us, right? Because in the Philippines, in our Philippine education, we know that we are using English textbooks for science. So, medyo mahirap siya. So, ayan. Sabi ni Ma'am Donna, toboggan is apparently it's a sled, all right? So, we have to make it more simple for our students as well. So, it's a challenge for us teachers. Okay? And maybe if there are students in here, if you don't know the term, you can also write it down and then search for it. Ang problema, very easy naman sa atin. Maybe it depends in the author, sabi ni Sir Raymond Villaforte. Yes, it also depends in the authors. So books like University Physics by Friedman use some terms that are common in their community. Yes, that's true. Opo, sabi ni Sir Raymond. Um, well, we don't have control of it. So the very best way that we can help our student is to help them look for. I mean, if they find it hard for a certain word to comprehend, take note of that word and then talk about it. Research on it. Maybe you can help them on that part. Thank you, Sir Raymond. Thank you, Ma'am Donna. There also terms that you find it hard? Baka mayroon kayo sa experiences nyo as teachers, no? As physics teachers or maybe science teachers in general. Maghihintay ba ako? Mamaya hintayin na natin yung mga naisip niya diyan. So, those are few examples that we encounter, no, in our everyday life as physics teachers or maybe science teachers. So the key term here, the idea is let's help our students comprehend. So there are techniques maybe, or maybe it you can have it as a hobby. You can practice the students. For example, if they are reading a text, take note of the terms that they find it hard to comprehend, and then help them understand what those terms are. So make it a hobby for the students to do that. Yeah.